Take for instance this curse discovered in an Old Kingdom-era tomb. Cursed be those who disturb the rest of a pharaoh. They that shall break the seal of this tomb shall meet death by a disease that no doctor can diagnose.
Many people say that 2020 and 2021 have been cursed years. Maybe someone stole an ancient Egyptian slab, and that's why we've been hit hard with tragedy this year and last year. We have actually been cursed. In today's list, we'll be looking at real-life ancient curses that have affected the world. From the curse of Macbeth to James Dean's cursed car. Let's talk about this and more only in today's video. Top 10 scary real-life ancient curses. Starting off this countdown, we have the Hope Diamond. Back in 1792, the valuable Hope Diamond was stolen from a Hindu statue. The 115-carat blue diamond was part of the idol's eyes. Upon discovering that the diamond was stolen, priests put a curse on the diamond for everyone who gets their greedy little paws on it, which turned out to be a lot of people over the years. And guess what? Bad luck befell on every single one of its owners. It said that the man who stole the diamond shortly came down with a raging fever and died shortly after. Legend continues on saying that his body was ravaged by wolves after. Continuing on, King Louis XIV bought the stone and had it recut in 1673. He died of gangrene, and all his legitimate kids died early on in life. Then we have Marie Antoinette. Apparently, she wore it as well. And, well, we all know how bad things ended for her. Another story involved a heiress named Evelyn Walsh McLean. She bought the Hope Diamond and everyone around her started to die mysteriously. First, it was her mother-in-law, then her son. Then her husband left her and then later died in a mental hospital. And then her daughter passed away. She later sold the diamond to get rid of the curse. That's not even half the people affected by this diamond. The list goes on and on. Coming in at number 9, we have the Curse of Macbeth. But before I go any further, you know the drill. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. It really helps us out, so thank you. If you're an actor or just love theater, then you know there are a lot of superstitions out there, like how you have to say break a leg instead of good luck, and also how you can't say the word Macbeth in the theater, except during a performance of the play itself. Why? Because of the Macbeth curse. If you do say his name in a theater, bad luck will befall upon you and the production. Legend goes that a coven of witches didn't like how Shakespeare used real incantations, so they put a curse on the play to teach him a lesson. Legend also goes that the actress that played Lady Macbeth in the very first production died right before opening night. How creepy. In our 8th spot, we have King Tut's curse. Probably the most well-known curse on this list besides Macbeth. It has been blamed for a number of tragedies, but it all began back in 1922 when his tomb was opened. Shortly after, it was investigated by a man named Howard Carter and his team. The thing is, the tomb was cursed. It was said that anyone who disturbed the rest of the king would die. Well, several weeks after opening the coffin, Carter's team started to die mysteriously. One man accidentally cut open a mosquito bite while shaving. It got infected, and then he died of blood poisoning. Another worker contracted a cold and then died of pneumonia. Another had his house burned down. They are all believed to be victims of King Tut's ancient curse. In our 7th spot, we have the Ring of Sylvanus. So back in the 14th century AD, this ring was once owned by a Roman man named Sylvianus. Hopefully I pronounced his name right. One day, his ring was stolen from him when he was visiting the baths. He believed it was taken by a man named Senecus. Again, I hope I pronounced that right. So he decided to curse him. He went to a temple and created a lead plate known as a curse tablet. On the tablet, he wrote, and I quote, "To the god Nodens, Sylvanus has lost his ring and given half of its value to Nodens. Among those who are called, do not allow health to the stealer until he brings it to the temple of Nodens." Now, it's believed that whoever owns the ring will become very ill and die until it's returned to its rightful owner. In 1785, it was found on some farmland randomly. Researchers, though, believe it was purposely discarded there. Maybe the curse worked, and the victim tried to get rid of it to avoid the curse. Who knows? In our 6th spot, we have the CROESUS treasure. In 1965, a bunch of villagers in western Turkey discovered a tomb that contained a bunch of silver and gold objects. This was dubbed the CROESUS treasure. Again, if I pronounced that wrong, I do apologize. But soon after its discovery, bad things began to happen. One man who robbed the treasure lost 3 of his kids. Another grave robber was paralyzed. Another went through a terrible divorce, and his son took his own life. The last thief literally went insane. So maybe don't steal things that aren't yours. Like, if there's anything to take away from this video, it's that. We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with Osiris. Osiris is known as the Egyptian god of death. And guess what? He might be responsible for a number of deaths. It all started back in 1971 during an excavation. Egyptologist Walter Bryan Emery unearthed a statue of Osiris, and later that day he took it home with him. That's when the curse began. Later that night, Emery had a shower, when all of a sudden his assistant heard him screaming in pain. He ran in to find him clutching the sink. His assistant claims that Emery was just standing there, as if paralyzed. He ended up dragging him to the couch and called for help. He was later diagnosed with paralysis on the right side of his body, and he was no longer able to speak. He died the following day. No one knows what caused him to suddenly become paralyzed and then die, but they blame it on the curse of Osiris. In our 4th spot, we have St. Anne's Well. Back in the day, St. Anne's Well near Liverpool was said to contain magical healing powers. As a result, people would bathe in the well. It was said to cleanse sins, heal skin, and diseases. Sadly, it was later cursed by a local priest. He got in an argument with the man who owned some of the property close to the well. And, well, he put a curse on the landowner and the well. Soon, the landowner's son died, and he lost almost all of his wealth. Later, he was found dead right at the foot of the well. Coming in at number 3, we have the Curse of the Knights Templar. On March 18th, 1314, a man named Jacques de Molay and a few other Templars were sent to death. This was unjustified. Basically, around that time, King Philip IV was borrowing money from the Templars. He never intended on paying them back. Instead, he took the money and then conspired to get them all executed so he never had to return the money. Jacques was the head of the order and was one of the men that got executed. While he was dying, he cursed everyone involved in his murder. A part of his curse, he said that King Philip will die, and same with the Pope that was in on the plan. And he also said that the king's bloodline will end with him. Shortly after, the Pope died of disease, and Philip died of a stroke. By 1328, all of his sons and grandsons were dead. How eerie is that? In our 2nd spot, we have the Curse of the Little Bastard. Little Bastard is the name James Dean gave his car. On September 30th, 1955, James Dean died in a car accident at only 24 years old. It's said that he was driving fast and suddenly had to swerve out of the way to avoid an oncoming car, but ended up hitting it almost head on. It said that Dean died instantly. Now, it's said that his car is cursed. First off, Dean only owned the car for 9 days before his death. Later, after he died, the car rolled off the back of a truck and crushed the mechanic's legs. Then, the car's parts were disassembled and installed into other cars around the world. All of those car owners also got into deadly crashes. Coincidence? I think not. Then apparently 2 doctors purchased the engine and transmission of the car. One was killed in a car accident. The other was seriously injured in a different car accident. In another case, someone purchased the tires. And guess what? While driving, the tires blew out simultaneously and the driver was sent to the hospital. So it's thought that the car and all of its parts are cursed. And in our number 1 spot, we have the Cursed Mummy. An iceberg might not be to blame for the sinking of the Titanic. In fact, a cursed mummy might. I know this sounds crazy, but just hear me out. So story goes that the unlucky mummy, which is the name of a wooden mummy board of an unknown woman, was once displayed at a museum. But it caused weird things to happen at the museum. Staff would hear loud banging coming from the artifact, and it would cause deep unhappiness to anyone who came in contact with it. It's also been blamed for death, illness, injuries, and bankruptcies. One time, a man tried to take a photo of it and was horrified when it got developed. The photo turned out eerily distorted and haunting looking, and that's not the first time it's happened. And in another case, a museum guard died mysteriously one night. This is what caused the museum to believe that the mummy board was cursed, so they wanted to get rid of it as quickly as possible. As a result, an American archaeologist took the mummy board with him on the Titanic. So now it's thought that having the cursed mummy on board the ship is what caused the ship to sink. Alright guys, that's all for today's video. Let me know in the comments below which one of these curses creeped you out the most. And now, speaking of comments, let's move on to our comment shout-out portion. I'll be shouting out comments from the video, top 10 subliminal messages in kid shows you cannot ignore. I don't know why I said it like that, but we're rolling. Zachary Burns commented, and the fact they named her Candy, from someone whose new channel is named Peach. Ha 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 ha, you're so funny. It's because I'm as sweet as a peach, okay? That's why it's named Peach. Actually, I don't know why it's named Peach. It's because it's cute. I like the name, okay? Stop, shh. Infected Stray commented, okay, interesting name. I instantly liked the video because you're hosting, Linz. Aw. Then I became crazy shocked to see the eye chart in one of the favorite shows I watched growing up. Right? Isn't it creepy? It literally said something about the Illuminati. That's crazy. Subliminal messages, guys. Watch out for them. Aid Cartel commented, standing ovation, another good video. Thank you. I would stand, but I'm in sweatpants, so we're not gonna go there. But thank you. I'm bowing. There you go. Alright guys, that's all the comments I'm shouting out for today's video. Make sure to comment something down below for a chance to be featured in my next comment shout out. And as always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to Most Amazing Top 10 for more amazing videos. I've been your host, Lindsay Ivan, and I'll see you when I see you.